The title of the session is Opportunities in Data Science and AI. First and foremost, I'd call upon Dr. Vineet Basotia to talk about the power of AI and advanced analytics transforming the healthcare sector. Dr. Basotia is an outcome-driven analytics leader. He is currently the Global Director of Market and Commercial Analytics at GE Healthcare, with focus on digital and advanced analytics solution for all GE Healthcare regions and products. The function is present across multiple locations, and he is leading efforts around predictive and perspective analytics, as there is a huge focus on technology integration to enable marketing commercial outcomes. Earlier, he worked as senior lead in analytics and research leadership, driving business impact, service delivery, and innovation at Fidelity Investments. After his doctoral research work, he also worked at Genpact Analytics.
Good. So I do know that it has been a long day, and personally for me, very insightful. So it's going to be absolutely difficult to catch your attention, and but let me give it a shot. And I just hope that maybe there are some nuggets, some nuances you take out of this presentation. I was really looking forward to come and attend this session, and I think a lot of this was very, very valuable, very insightful, as I mentioned. So I think we went through quite a bit of the sectors, especially the financial sector. We also heard a very intelligent gentleman from a government perspective. We heard the media industry and all that. This is a little different. This is healthcare, and when I think of healthcare, I just need to be sure if this is working. Okay, yeah. So when I think of healthcare, I think the biggest thing that comes in my mind is that it really affects lives of people in moments that matter. But in my analytics journey, and as the spectrum is changing, I have been in different industry, and I think a lot of the work which we do remains. I think the core of it remains. So 10 years back, 15 years back, if somebody talked of diagnostic, descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive analytics, even today it is as relevant as then. The only thing which has probably changed, is that everything today certainly is so much more connected. Like, we did not expect that my equipment will give back information in my eye center, and I can then relay it back to my customers and impact their service quality, impact the productivity, impact the utilization, and impact so many other metrics 10 years before, because I was working in silos of data. But the world changed because it got so much more connected. And every business in the world is because of its customer. We all know that, right? And I'll come to the healthcare part. But today, the customer's ecosystem, the customer's landscape has massively changed. And I think we heard about the digital revolution. We heard about the fact that there is something massive changing about the way we deal with data, the way we consume data, the way a customer interprets the data. And the healthcare sector is not away. So in our healthcare sector as well, the expectation today a patient has, the expectation today healthcare, a hospital has, a health center has, a health provider has all changed. Now, with this changing spectrum, what we see that so many more elements of data, of analytics, of ML, of AI in business interpretation, whether analyzing voice, analyzing visual, analyzing streams of data, analyzing text, there is a mushrooming group of companies and startups. So me as a GE Healthcare company, which is probably one of the biggest manufacturers of healthcare equipment, I interface with this intelligent set of startups who have innovative solutions and very, very insightful things to offer, right? So the other day I was in a meeting with our South Asia CEO was there, and a lot of other folks were there, and there was this solution being provided that how can we totally map a patient's journey from the moment he enters a health setting to the moment he is discharged, pretty much in a very, very interactive and analytical way. From simple apps, the physiotherapist, the anesthesiologist, the radiologist, the cardiologist, everybody is interacting with the patient, not just when they meet them, but through this very analytical mobile apps, right? So innovative solutions are hitting us every day. Now, if the consumer changed, if the consumer's ecosystem changed, if the business environment changed, if the landscape changed, and the whole thing around us changed, our go-to-market strategy also has to change, and we see it pretty much in our world every day. So the way we are interacting, a salesperson is interacting with his customer, the way a marketeer is interacting with his customers, the way everybody is interacting has become far more digital. So the amount of digital marketing in every trade show of healthcare is humongous today, right? So because we believe that you can't meet a customer until and unless you really knew their digital footprint and you really had a good evaluation of all the marketing tactics and the touch points which the customer had. So that is how it trickles down around you. But I think the core of this, pretty much the whole story, is the fact that the consumer or the customer first of all changed. And because the consumer and the customer changed, everything which is analytical around him, which is solution providing, which is process alignment, which is re-engineering, is because of the customer. So we can see it hitting the ecosystem, and I think that is the revolution, right? Now coming to the healthcare setting, I think AI is transforming pretty much every category of it. Whether start with the patient, the hospital, the equipment, the physician, and the multiple use cases. I think the biggest one, and I probably have a page on that, is the element of precision health. I don't know if you guys know, the world of biologics, the world of biotechnology has a massive leap. GE Healthcare recently had a transaction in the industry where it kind of sold its biologic business for a humongous $22 billion. And Danaher bought that business. The reason being that precision medicine, is a big thing. So from the time a child is born, the genetics of the child would probably define the solution to the diseases and the troubles from a health perspective that individual is going to have in their lifetime, and it is going to be unique. So that is the fundamental factor around precision medicine. So that essentially means that your genetic, your make is different, and hence your solutions and your care has to be different. Your care setting has to be different. So that's I think a core to the patient thing. Again, multiple use cases from a hospital perspective. The way they really do their inpatient, outpatient volumes, their planning, their optimization, their productivity. I think every time we sell a CD machine or an X-ray machine or an ultrasound machine or MRI, the question which we get asked from a hospital today are drastically different, because pretty much every transaction and every sale has a footprint of analytics into it. So if you sell an MRI, which may be a 1.5T MRI, the patient is going to ask that, hey, what is going to be my productivity level versus the industry benchmarks? He's going to ask that, hey, if the data is going to get relayed back to you, how am I going to bet? As somebody mentioned, that data is monetized, right? So data is monetized. Everybody understands it, not just the providers of equipment, but every setting in the whole process, everybody understands that. And pretty much this whole spectrum of players in the healthcare sector, they know that data is like the powerhouse. And if one job which is going to last like a hell lot of time is the data scientist job, because it is got so ingrained in the psyche of every business, a business decision, a business sale, right? So today a business, like when you enter a deal, you don't enter a deal till you really had an analytical and AI wrap on the deal, right? So if you don't have analytical and AI wrap on the deal, you don't enter a deal. Like a salesperson doesn't go and talk about it. And I think that's where the rubber hits the road. And I think that's what's the most important factor. And I think that's, while personally as a leader in this industry, and let me know when I'm getting done, as a leader in this industry, I have always had this pain point that we have brilliant skill sets and brilliant analytical people, but do we really create substantial business impact? But today, actually, I feel that the ecosystem just warrants that. You cannot do data and analytics until and unless you had a clear lens of business impact, right? Again, this is an example from an imaging world when you really do a CT scan, how is really, good analytics on the image helping for more clear diagnostics. And there are multiple such examples. Today, the threat for a Siemens, GE, or Philips, do you know who is the threat for Siemens, GE, or Philips? Is Google or Microsoft? IBM. The IBM Watson, I think there's a lady from IBM out here. So the IBM Watson play in the market was that we can deal with data in such a way that if your cancer is unique, we can say what is the real diagnosis of your cancer and what should be the real cure for your cancer. But the problem is, again, I think we touched upon this somewhere during the day, when you connect the dots, the problem is that somebody else in this whole ecosystem, the physician, the cardiologist, the oncologist, and all those people also have to back it up. But there are a lot of solutions coming up. If you guys recently watched Sundar Pichai's video, I think he was talking about this retina scan, which is going to be diagnosing, various disease traits, right? I talked about precision medicine. I think pretty much what I just said. Now, this is a big play because of the advancement of the power of AI. Companies like Roche and GE are partnering on this. We really believe that from the moment of a birth of a child till pretty much the whole journey, the spectrum of medicine can be far more precise because of the power of AI, the genetic mapping, the care area mapping, the exact therapy mapping, the multiple clinical trials are today going on in this area. I think US is big on it, China is big. I think India is probably a big catching ground. So if you want to invest in biologic stocks, you should definitely do that. Yeah. So here, these are like more operational use cases. So you can read through this. But net, pretty much from the way a surgery is done, how robotic it is, to the way operations of a firm are run, the way their financial operations, their day-to-day operations, their patient flows, to managing, pretty much across the globe, you see healthcare is on your wrist now because everybody is having some device on their hand, and they are able to track their basic, patterns of how much of exercise they're doing. I think that will keep getting more and more sophisticated. So we do believe that. And I can actually keep talking on multiple examples. So like I said, 3 years back, we did not believe that the ultrasound machine can become like a pocket mobile device. But today, Butterfly Network, which is actually a startup in the US, has brought down an ultrasound machine to like a mobile device. It is hardly $750, $800. So there is disruption happening in this market because of the power of AI and data, right? And I think we will continue to see that, and every good player in this industry has to be on that edge, and you have to have, from a technological perspective, from a product perspective, from the way you run your services, from the way you really run your commercial processes and your marketing strategy, net, pretty much the plethora of every function has to have the embrace of data and AI, right? So that's what we see, and this is my final comment, probably just wrap up with this. Healthcare sector will see more AI miracles and really touch human lives in moments that matter, right? And it is going to be for good. It is a disruption of many types, but it is going to be for good. We really believe that power of data and analytics and AI in the healthcare sector, pretty much touching every spectrum of the sector, is going to be massive. So those are my few thoughts. I know it's late in the evening, but thanks for your attention and thanks for your time. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
How you are connecting the AI into the insurance claim into the healthcare sector?
How am I connecting?
Yeah, I mean, like in the last slide you mentioned that there is a point mentioned where the AI and ML is being implemented, and one point is that
during the insurance claims. So how you are using that?
Right. So I mean, generally I see multiple use cases, say in the US kind of environment where the claim data and the procedure data, which is there in the healthcare sector, right, becomes pretty much a very powerful source of data for companies like ours to really do good, precise targeting and marketing activities, right? So I'll give you an example. So, you know, across multiple equipments, there are multiple procedures happen, and when a procedure happens, that is, a person goes and gets admitted, they would get paid through the insurance company, and hence a claim happens, right? So net, that whole data system decides that you know, the way the marketers and the commercial teams work, think of the map of the US, and these are the areas where more orthopedic procedures are happening. These are the areas where more this kind of claims are happening, and then they go and tell those respective facilities that, listen, your volume for such disease trends is much higher, such epidemiology is much higher, and hence you should be buying better service contract, better equipment, more faster rotation of your IB. So that's how it plays in a way. Yeah? One way, but then it can play in multiple other ways as well. I mean, like for a company like us, that's why that data is important. Okay, great. Any other questions? No more questions, so it's gift time. Okay. I'm good. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. Basotia. I'd request Ms. Sharmila Das to come on stage and felicitate Dr. Vineet Basotia.
It's good to be getting facilitated from an IBM person. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you, everyone.